Gaijin is lying to you. If you are using the numbers they give you to make decisions, you might be playing at a disadvantage. Most players know that the stat cards aren't 100% accurate, but they do offer a general idea of a vehicle's performance. However, there is something I haven't seen many people talk about: the X-ray view. In most games, you've probably noticed that as you climb to higher altitudes, your plane loses thrust. The same goes for speed, and that's not unusual. But a few months back, I noticed something strange. The plane I was flying felt like it had more power than it should have. At the time, I was flying the Swiss 9-3 Hunter, now one of my favorite aircrafts. When flying low and above 900 kilometers an hour, its engine performance felt outstanding. I assumed that at or above those speeds, the engine was finally putting out its full claimed thrust. According to the X-ray, that's 4,270 kilograms of thrust. Around the same time, I was flying another favorite, the ME-262A1A at 7.0. I noticed that at low altitudes it could climb around 23 meters a second, but go just a few kilometers up and it could lose about 10 meters a second in climb rate. I've always been vaguely aware of thrust laws, but I never gave it much thought. But this got me curious. So I decided to collect some data on engine performance, and oh boy was I surprised. Yes, speed and altitude absolutely have an effect on thrust output, but what I didn't expect was how inaccurate the claimed thrust values were for many planes. Some underperformed so badly I felt like I had to make this video, not just to expose the numbers, but to help you better understand your own plane's performance and exploit the weaknesses of others. All of these tests were done in realistic at an altitude of 10 meters. In every test, I start on the runway, throttle up while holding the brakes, and release the brakes at 50 kilometers an hour. I take measurements at 0 kilometers an hour, 50 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, and every 100 kilometers after that. The ME-262A1A. Claimed thrust: 910 kilograms per engine. That is 1,820 in total. It peaks at 875 kilograms of force at 50 kilometers an hour. During normal flight at sea level, each engine produces only 750 kilograms. That's a total of 1,500. That's over 300 kilograms of force short of the claimed thrust. And it only gets worse with altitude. For every 1,000 meters, each engine loses 100 kilograms of thrust. The F-80A. Claimed thrust: 1,650 kilograms of force. Reality: only about 1,550 kilograms. Not as bad as the 262. It also holds thrust much better at various speeds. The Horton 229. Claimed: 1,050 kilograms of force per engine. Reality: peaks at 1,013 kilograms of force, with normal flight values being closer to 870. The MiG-15 BIS. Claimed: 2,450 kilograms of thrust. Reality averages about 2,200. F-86 F-2 claimed 2,630 kilograms. Reality around 2,300. But here's where things get interesting. At sea level, speeds above 1,000 kilometers an hour, it actually produces more than the claimed thrust. The Harrier GR3 claimed 9,620 kilograms of thrust. Peak measured 9,421, but it drops off sharply. At high speeds, it falls over 4,500 kilograms, and it only gets worse at higher altitudes. The Hunter claimed 4,270 kilograms of force. Below 800 kilometers an hour, it underperforms by about 300 to 400 kilograms of thrust. But once it gets above 1100 kilometers an hour, it exceeds the claimed thrust, generating over 5,000 kilograms of force. This not only supports my earlier hypothesis, it exceeds my expectations. In the case of the Hunter, it does overperform at higher speeds, generating an additional 800 kilograms of thrust. The MiG-19S. Based on the tests that I've done, the MiG-19 is only role-playing as a supersonic. The F-104C, for comparison, well surpasses the claimed thrust at higher speeds, while the MiG-19 doesn't. The F-4F sees something similar to the 104, as well as the Kafir C-10 and the MiG-29. The problem with this is that when it comes to claimed thrust, there is no standard, no consistency. Some vehicles reach their max thrust at takeoff, others at lower in-flight speeds, and some higher speeds. A few never reach their claimed thrust, while most exceed it. This lack of consistency can lead you to overestimate your own vehicle, or underestimate your opponent's. Now that you're aware of this, hopefully that won't happen. Will Gaijin fix this by creating a standard for testing engine performance? Probably not. If you have found this video helpful, please give a like and consider subscribing. If you have any questions, I will answer them in the comments below.